Have you ever wondered about the origins of the vast private land ownership we see today, especially how some individuals came to own so much while others owned very little? This profound shift, particularly evident in early capitalism, has deep roots in a historical process that reshaped society. Private property expanded dramatically through English enclosures, primarily by transforming commonly held or open-field agricultural lands into individually owned, fenced, and legally defined parcels. This process systematically dispossessed many peasants and concentrated land ownership into fewer hands, fundamentally altering the social and economic structure of rural England. The core mechanism behind enclosure was the transition from customary rights to absolute property rights. For centuries, much of England's agricultural land was managed under a communal system where villagers had traditional rights to cultivate strips of land within large open fields, graze livestock on common pastures, and gather resources from woodlands. The enclosure movement, especially prominent from the 16th to the 19th centuries, replaced these shared rights with individual exclusive ownership, often backed by parliamentary acts. This transformation occurred in several ways. Landlords, often with support from the state, would consolidate scattered strips into single, enclosed farms. Common lands, vital for the survival of many small farmers and landless laborers, were also enclosed and privatized. This created a class of landless laborers who had to seek wage employment, often in nascent industries, thus fueling the growth of industrial capitalism. A key concept here is primitive accumulation, which Karl Marx described as the historical process of separating producers from their means of production, particularly land. The enclosure movement represents a classic example of this, forcibly converting feudal and customary property into modern private property, creating both capital for landowners and a free labor force for early factories. This act of dispossessing the rural population was not simply an economic transaction, but a violent and state-sanctioned transformation of social relations. Understanding the English enclosures helps us grasp how early capitalism created a stark division between those who owned productive assets and those who owned only their labor power. It illustrates a foundational moment in the history of private property, showing how legal and economic changes can profoundly reshape society, laying the groundwork for the class structures and property relations that persist in many forms today.